24 hours before her wedding, Olivia Carter stood alone inside the grand ballroom of Magnolia Estate in Charleston, South Carolina. Crystal chandeliers sparkled overhead, while florists placed the final white roses along the aisle. Everything looked exactly the way she had dreamed since she was a little girl. At 31, Olivia had built a successful career as an interior designer. Every detail of the wedding reflected her personality: simple, elegant, and meaningful. The custom wedding gown hanging in the bridal suite wasn't just an expensive dress. It was sewn with a small piece of lace taken from her late mother's favorite evening gown, making it the most precious thing she owned. Her fiancé, Daniel Brooks, was charming, successful, and kind. At least, that's what everyone believed. The only shadow over their relationship was Daniel's family. His mother, Margaret Brooks, believed no woman was good enough for her son. His older sister, Vanessa, copied everything Margaret did and never missed a chance to make Olivia feel like an outsider. That afternoon, while the wedding planner finalized the decorations, Margaret quietly pulled Olivia aside. "I have something important to ask," she said with a polite smile that never reached her eyes. She opened a large vintage garment box. Inside lay a 40-year-old wedding dress. "This belonged to my family," Margaret said proudly. "Every Brooks bride has worn it. Tomorrow, you'll wear this instead of your own dress." Olivia was stunned. She took a slow breath before answering. "I'm truly honored, Margaret, but my dress carries my mother's memory. I promised myself years ago that I'd wear it on my wedding day." The smile on Margaret's face disappeared. "So, you're rejecting our family's tradition?" "I'm not rejecting your family," Olivia replied calmly. "I'm simply keeping a promise to my mother." For several long seconds, neither woman spoke. Then Margaret smiled again. "Of course, dear, it's your wedding." She closed the garment box and walked away. Olivia believed the conversation had ended peacefully. She never noticed Margaret exchanging a silent glance with Vanessa across the ballroom. That single look said everything. By sunrise, someone would make sure Olivia never wore the dress she loved. Wedding morning arrived wrapped in golden sunlight. At exactly 7 o'clock, Olivia woke with a smile she couldn't hide. Today was supposed to be the happiest day of her life. The bridal suite buzzed with excitement as the makeup artist, hairstylist, photographer, and bridesmaids prepared everything for the ceremony. Laughter filled the room while soft music played in the background. Daniel had already texted her. "Can't wait to see you at the altar. I love you." Olivia smiled and slipped her phone into her robe pocket. She walked toward the bedroom, where her custom wedding gown had been hanging safely inside a locked wardrobe since the previous night. She unlocked the wardrobe and froze. The hanger was there. The protective garment bag was there. But the dress was gone. For a moment, Olivia thought she was dreaming. Her heart began pounding so loudly that she could barely hear herself breathe. "No!" She tore open the garment bag. Empty. Only the silk hanger remained. "Emily!" she shouted to her maid of honor. Emily rushed inside. "What happened?" "My dress," Olivia whispered. "It's gone." Within seconds, everyone in the suite was searching every room. The closets, the bathroom, the storage room, even under the beds. Nothing. The wedding planner looked completely confused. "I checked this room myself last night," she said nervously. "The dress was hanging right here." Just then, Margaret and Vanessa entered the bridal suite. Margaret covered her mouth with fake concern. "Oh dear, What happened? My wedding dress disappeared, Olivia replied, struggling to stay calm. Vanessa frowned dramatically. That's terrible. Then she casually added, maybe someone stole it? Olivia noticed something strange. Neither woman looked surprised. In fact, Vanessa couldn't stop smiling. A few minutes later, while everyone searched downstairs, Olivia returned to the empty room. Something caught her eye. Near the wardrobe, a tiny silver bracelet charm lay on the carpet. She recognized it immediately. Vanessa wore that exact charm every single day. Olivia slowly picked it up. She didn't say a word. Instead, she slipped the charm into her pocket. At that very moment, her phone vibrated. A security notification from the estate's private camera system had appeared. Motion detected, bridal hallway, 2:17 a.m. Olivia stared at the screen. Her heartbeat slowed. This wasn't an accident. Someone had entered the bridal suite in the middle of the night, and for the first time that morning, she realized this wasn't about a missing dress. Someone wanted to destroy her wedding. Olivia locked the bridal suite door behind her. For the first time that morning, she allowed herself to breathe. Her hands trembled as she opened the estate's security app. The notification from 2:17 a.m. was still there. She tapped play. The video loaded. The hallway outside the bridal suite appeared on the screen. At first, nothing happened. Then, exactly at 2:17 a.m., two figures quietly walked toward the suite. Both wore hooded raincoats. One of them pulled a small key from her pocket. Olivia's eyes widened. The woman unlocked the bridal suite without forcing the door. Seconds later, both disappeared inside. 3 minutes passed. When they came back out, one of them was carrying a long white garment bag. Olivia froze. Her wedding dress. The security camera didn't clearly show their faces, but one detail stood out. As the taller woman adjusted her hood, a silver bracelet sparkled under the hallway light, the exact same bracelet charm now resting inside Olivia's pocket. Vanessa. Olivia replayed the footage 3 more times. Each time, her heart broke a little more. Not because of the missing dress, but because this wasn't a random theft. It had been planned. She immediately called the estate manager. "Can you send me the original security footage?" "Of course," he replied. "I'll email the high-resolution file in a few minutes." "Don't tell anyone you spoke to me." "I understand." Olivia ended the call. Instead of crying, she became frighteningly calm. A few minutes later, her best friend and maid of honor, Emily, quietly entered the room. "Did you find anything?" Olivia handed her the phone. Emily watched the footage. By the end, she looked furious. "Oh my God!" "They stole it." Olivia nodded. "But we're not telling anyone yet." Emily stared at her. "What? If we confront them now, they'll deny everything. They'll call us crazy. They'll ruin the ceremony anyway." Emily frowned. "So what's your plan?" Olivia slowly smiled. "The wedding will continue." Emily looked completely confused. "Without your dress?" Olivia walked toward another travel bag, resting in the corner of the room. She unzipped it. Inside was an elegant ivory bridal pantsuit she had packed weeks earlier as a backup outfit for the rehearsal dinner. Simple, modern, powerful. Emily looked at her in disbelief. "You planned for emergencies?" Olivia shook her head. "No. I just never imagined this would be the emergency." She carefully lifted the outfit from the suitcase. Then she looked back at the paused security footage on her phone. "They wanted me to panic. They wanted me to cancel the wedding. They wanted everyone to believe I couldn't handle pressure." She locked her phone and slipped it into her purse. "Instead, they're going to expose themselves," Outside the bridal suite, Margaret and Vanessa were laughing quietly with a few relatives. They believed their secret had disappeared with the wedding dress. Neither of them realized the cameras had witnessed everything, and in less than an hour, so would everyone else. The ceremony began exactly on time. Soft violin music filled the beautiful garden as nearly 200 guests stood and turned toward the entrance. A wave of whispers spread through the crowd. Instead of a traditional wedding gown, Olivia walked down the aisle wearing an elegant ivory pantsuit with pearl earrings and a calm expression. She looked confident, not broken. Margaret's smile slowly disappeared. Vanessa frowned. "Why isn't she crying?" she whispered. "I don't know," Margaret replied nervously. "This wasn't supposed to happen." At the altar, Daniel couldn't hide his surprise. "Olivia, what happened to your dress?" She smiled softly. "I'll explain." The officiant welcomed everyone and began the ceremony. Everything seemed normal until he reached the vows. "If anyone has a reason why this marriage should not take place," Olivia gently raised her hand. "I do." The entire garden fell silent. Daniel stared at her in disbelief. "What are you doing?" Olivia turned toward the guests. "I owe everyone here the truth." She removed her phone from her purse. "This morning my wedding dress disappeared." Margaret immediately interrupted. "What a terrible misunderstanding." "It must have been stolen." Olivia looked directly into her eyes. "You're right. It was stolen." She connected her phone to the large LED screen prepared for the wedding slideshow. Within seconds, the security footage appeared. The guests watched in complete silence. At 2:17 a.m., two hooded women entered the bridal suite. 3 minutes later, they walked out carrying Olivia's garment bag. The video zoomed in. A silver bracelet reflected under the hallway lights. Olivia slowly pulled the bracelet charm from her pocket. "I found this beside the wardrobe." She looked toward Vanessa. "Would you like it back?" Vanessa's face turned completely white. Margaret stood up. "This proves nothing," before anyone could respond. The estate manager stepped forward. "I'd like to clarify something. The master key used to enter the bridal suite belongs only to 3 people." He paused. "Myself, the bride, and Mrs. Margaret Brooks." The guests gasped. Daniel slowly turned toward his mother. His voice shook. "Mom, tell me this isn't true." Margaret couldn't answer. Vanessa suddenly shouted, "We only wanted to teach her a lesson." The moment the words left her mouth, she realized what she had confessed. The entire garden erupted with shocked voices. Some guests stood up. Others pulled out their phones. Daniel looked at his mother, then at his sister, then back at Olivia. For the first time in his life, he finally saw the truth that had been standing in front of him all along. And nothing would ever be the same again. The garden fell into complete silence. No one moved. No one spoke. Margaret stared at the ground. Vanessa looked around desperately, hoping someone would defend her. But every guest had already understood exactly what had happened. Daniel slowly walked toward Olivia. His eyes were filled with guilt. "I'm so sorry," he whispered. "I didn't know." Olivia looked at him for several long seconds. "I believe you. But that's not the problem." Daniel frowned. "Then what is?" "The problem is that for 2 years, I kept hoping one day you'd stand up for us. You never did." Her voice wasn't angry. It was calm, almost heartbreaking. "You always chose peace over truth. You always protected everyone's feelings, except mine." Daniel lowered his head. He couldn't deny it. Olivia gently removed her engagement ring, the same ring Daniel had placed on her finger 18 months earlier. She held it in her palm. I still love the man I thought you were. She paused. But I can't marry the man you chose to become. She placed the ring into Daniel's hand. Tears rolled down his face. Please, don't leave. I'll fix everything. Olivia gave him a sad smile. No. Some things aren't fixed after they're broken. They're learned from. She turned toward the guests. I'm truly sorry your day didn't go as planned. But I refuse to build a marriage on silence, fear, and manipulation. I deserve better. And someday, so does Daniel. She walked away from the altar. This time, no one tried to stop her. Even Daniel remained standing exactly where he was because, deep inside, he knew she was right. As Olivia reached the garden exit, the guests slowly began applauding. Not because a wedding had happened, but because someone had finally chosen self-respect over appearances. 6 months later, Charleston Lifestyle magazine featured a woman on its front cover. Olivia Carter, the designer redefining luxury interiors. Her business had doubled. She had purchased her dream design studio overlooking the harbor. She was happier than she had ever been. One afternoon, while leaving a meeting, she received a message from Daniel. It contained only one sentence. Thank you for walking away that day. It forced me to become the man I should have been years ago. Olivia read the message. She smiled softly. Then, she deleted it. Not out of anger, but because the past no longer had a place in her future. She looked toward the bright Charleston skyline and whispered to herself, sometimes losing a wedding is how you finally find your life. With a peaceful smile, she walked forward, never looking back again.